Welcome to another weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities. We talk about autograph conventions, on-the-street encounters, and everything else about this increasingly odd hobby. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Dana.
And we have had a lot of feedback on the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook regarding my claim that Brooke Shields is the biggest con guest of all time. What are your thoughts about that feedback?
The community is firmly in my corner on this debate. Most people respect the magnitude of Brooke Shields as a cultural icon, I suppose. And I don't think anyone's poo-pooing it as a convention guest because she's never been at one before. I didn't see much of that, but they don't seem to think that she's anywhere near the biggest convention guest of all time, like you stepped out on the limb to say last week.
What I think the issue is, though, is that people tend to kind of take their own personal niche and sort of expand that to instinctively believe that other people share that niche. And I'll give a pretty good example. In the horror world, someone like Robert Englund is a big star, But I mean, and I think Robert Englund has permeated the culture more than almost any other horror personality. Welcome to primetime, bitch, and all this stuff that has become sort of a part of the culture. But in mainstream society, Robert Englund's a D-lister, and he's not an internationally recognized person in a meaningful way, maybe a little bit, but I mean, and look, and he's very beloved in our world, but that's our world. I think when people have these certain, we were having this argument before, on the air, someone like, let's take a top Marvel star, like a Chris Evans or a Chris Hemsworth or one of those kind of people. Like they have huge upsides. And, when the Avengers movies were at their peak, these guys are huge stars, but they're not multi-generational icons, and they won't, unless they really kind of radically change path and then just develop a whole other aspect to their career. They're not going to be people who in 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years are remembered for anything other than sort of these roles in kids movies, And so I think there's sort of a lack of perspective by some people in thinking that, what does it mean to be a big name at a con? Sure, having someone who's a contemporary A-list actor is a big deal, but that's really a little bit of a different thing than a multi-generational cultural icon who just symbolically represents so much cultural cachet. I don't know. It's just a strange comparison to make. It just, my reaction. I'm not. The funny thing is, I wouldn't even classify myself as a Brooke Shields fan. Right? I mean, I don't even know what that would look like, really. But when I saw her name announced, my jaw hit the ground as being like, holy crap, this is a huge name in a way that it's just different from other names. She's sort of a mythical figure as opposed to someone who acts in movies or, is an athlete or something. So that's sort of the kind of the reason why I took that view. But I do think that people often they take their own biases and they sort of just make the mistake that other people must think the way they do. I have no illusions about the fact that I'm strange and that I don't even pretend that people will share the same tastes that I do. And obviously some people do, but I really try to take a step back with someone like this. It's it reminds me of, in a way, and this is a terrible analogy, but I'll say it anyway. To me, when I was first approached with the Barbara Bain deal, right? I was like, this is an automatic no, And then I kind of gained some perspective, and I'm like, this was someone who was a huge TV star at the time, massive, just not in my field of vision, I guess. Now, I'm not even putting the two on the same stratosphere as far as international stardom and whatnot. But then after I started reading and thinking, I actually realized I had a complete blind spot when it came to Barbara Bain. Honestly, similar to you had a complete blind spot with Olivia Hussey when we first talked about it. So I think people have their blind spots, and rather than take a step back and sort of think about whether it's a blind spot for them, they just make the assumption that they are the same as everyone else.
I hear you. I definitely don't want to rehash my stance from last week. I think there's a slight chance that you may, without realizing it, be also operating from your own perspective and thinking it's bigger than maybe it is for the entire world. Because I mean, we're seeing a decent glimpse into the paying, buying customers that attend these cons, and a lot of them, all of them, I don't think there was a single person that echoed your sentiment at all.
Right, but these people were the wrestling crew, which have their own biases insofar as they frequently don't bathe. So I don't know. I think the proof will be in the pudding. That's all I'll say.
I mean, I hope it is, and I feel kind of bad because I think it's an awesome name. It just so happened that you and I ended up on the air having this discussion of, is she the biggest of all time? If it wasn't for this argument, it would be all praise, because it's an incredible ad that I really never expected to do a con. I wish I grew up actually I don't wish I grew up in that time, because I'd be even older than I am now. But I wish I found it as cool as some people do, because I mean, it's always fun when there's a name that's added to a con that you're like genuinely excited for more than like combo god offerings and psychoses. Like if you're just genuinely excited from a real place of fandom. But it's really an incredible booking. I hope Tom makes a boatload of cash. I hope it opens the door for more people that you wouldn't have expected to do cons to be viable options to do cons. Because I bet the next one I'm going to like and be a fan of more than this one.
That's a funny perspective for me, because I don't have any if I don't like something, I don't like something. If I don't care about something, I don't care about something. I'm not sad or happy about being. I don't know. It's just a funny way of looking at it. I just think it's a big deal, and I don't know how it's operating. How I could possibly be operating from a position of bias based on someone I don't care about. Really, I would care about getting an op, for example, probably less than you. But I just think it's a crazy booking. It's just, to me, the equivalent of booking someone obviously these people are dead, but like a Princess Diana or a Mother Teresa, in terms of just these ubiquitous household names. It's just wild to me. It's just something that maybe it isn't a function of my exact age. I don't know. When I was growing up, Brooke Shields was literally everywhere. You couldn't turn your head and not see or hear about Brooke Shields.
I just think it's interesting, and this will be my last point on this, but I think it's interesting when you look at a Brooke Shields type of spot in society, when you look at it with like 2026 eyes. And I imagine in 30, 40 years, if these things are going on, and if we're still on the air as like 80-year-olds still talking to the masses, will people be arguing that, oh my God, Kendall Jenner's the biggest con name ever? Honey Boo Boo is known everywhere. The Catch Me Outside girl from whatchamacallit, Dr. Phil.
I think those analogies are really exposing your blind spot here, though. Dramatically, actually.
I understand, but you're basically saying that like a star from a Marvel movie will only be remembered for one movie, whereas Brooke Shields were known for like modeling campaigns. Like who really gives a crap about modeling campaigns? No,
it's just not. That's not the only thing. That was the beginning thing, right? It's someone who occupies a space in culture for who they are, instead of occupying a space in culture for what they did. It's just a different kind of. I mean, I am the example that I'm equating it to, and that you're just not addressing are names like Mother Teresa or Princess Diana, people who didn't really do anything. They were famous for who they are in ways that are hard to like capture otherwise, you know. And those are two names that I picked them because they're also, you know, significant from my upbringing. I mean, I guess if you ask from a 2026 perspective, Mother Teresa is not famous, or from a 2026 perspective, Princess Diana isn't famous. I mean, so far as they're dead plays a part of it, but these are just, they are symbolically, I don't know, significant people. They're people in history books, you know. I guess that's the only way to kind of break it down. Look, there are larger conversations to be had about what fame looks like. I mean, one of the things that Brooke Shields kind of brought into the public eye was the bizarre fetishization of young girls by pop culture. I mean, she did a naked movie when she was a kid. You know, she was held up to these weird beauty standards when she was a young teenager, 14 years old. She was already held up as like this exemplar of female beauty. That's kind of the thing, was that she's kind of held up as the ultimate avatar of the victimization of women by society, and how she emerged from that as a kind of a dignified public figure when so many have not. And it's sort of an interesting time and a place. You know, so many people are talked about that issue because Brooke Shields existed. You know, it's almost like she's like the anti Corey Feldman of sorts, in a weird way. Like if you were to reverse mirror image Corey Feldman or something like that. I don't know, but I just think it's just an interesting comparison to even think on the wavelength that. You could compare a Honey Boo Boo type, or to me, Honey Boo Boo is like almost like who's that other girl, JoJo Siwa or something like that. Someone who was famous for a minute for something they did, and then, or you know, Catch Me Outside girl, who's, you know, same thing. What is it, Bad Baby or whatever her name is?
Well, I think the Kardashians will sadly be in that realm.
I would almost say yes and no. I mean, Kim Kardashian's famous for a low quality sex tape, right? That sort of spun her into the public eye. You know, I also think there's a sort of being famous for the right reasons versus being famous for the wrong reasons. Right and wrong are kind of wishy-washy concepts, but
I mean, that would be my argument for Mother Teresa versus, I guess from a secular point of view, Mother Teresa and Brooke Shields could be kind of equal, but I would, you know, look at her differently from a religious, faith-based, charitable-based, humanitarian-based. I'm sure Brooke Shields has charitable work that I'm not aware of, but I mean, I think Diana's probably a solid comparison, maybe, because you could argue what's the value of royalty, so to speak, married in or otherwise, and you know, why do we care about that? And does it really separate someone from like a Brooke Shields just because she was a princess? I don't know.
But that's really not why Diana was famous. Diana was famous because she was trapped in an insane world as someone who appeared to be a decent human being, and was like sort of the ultimate victim of wealthy excess and insanity. You know, if you weren't sort of alive and aware at the time, it's hard to sort of understand all of that. But I don't know. I don't know. This is probably sort of exceeding the scope of this podcast, I think. I'm just hoping to see. No, I think it's such an interesting. I am very rarely in awe of people at these kinds of shows. You know, I'm not in awe when I meet a Chris Evans. You know, it's like, oh, that's, you know, Captain America or whatever. Like, that's neat, I guess. I will be in awe of Brooke Shields. Her existence is interesting to me. So again, maybe because of the culture in which I grew up, I don't really idolize people in that way. And this is not idolization per se of Brooke Shields. It's sort of just like, damn, here she is in the flesh. That's sort of the my thought on it. Anyway, I also, not related to this at all. I guess this is my weird, fixation on Brooke Shields is kind of making us a little bit notorious. You're making us notorious in a completely different way with your incessant eBay returns lately. Again, I make fun because I have access to your eBay account emails. You're really on a return spree these days. You're going to give us a bad name.
Listen, Marked Out is known for a strongly worded letter. Sometimes a strongly worded eBay case or eBay message is necessary.
Well, how do you determine when to let things go versus making a return?
Well, in the one case, I had a very necessary bone cruncher figure that I needed for big event that came crushed, sort of. And I, at that point, well, what the hell am I going to do with this crushed figure? So I had to make a return for that. That was a non-negotiable return. And today I received a second, after we sold our first, I repurchased a 2001 Royal Rumble full-sized original poster. And yes, I really needed that. Yes, that's definitely going to go on the wall very, very soon. But in any case, in my estimation, it's one of the last great Rumble posters. Perhaps the last great Rumble poster. It captures the essence of the 91 and 92 with the guys all walking down the street. And it's honestly the most affordable. You can't get those early 90s ones for less than $300-400. So I grabbed this one for $100. The description basically said, and I quote, "It's not mint, it's just old." And whatever the hell that means. Apparently that meant it had 6 different rips and tears in it was one of those folded ones, and in the folds there were rips all over. So I messaged the guy and said, I would not have paid $100 had you disclosed the rips and the tears. And I said I would like to avoid a return, and he offered me basically 50% off, which at that point I'll take it. 50% off, that's fine. But I wasn't going to pay $100. So I think both returns were well justified.
No, it's just funny to me because you do go in these waves, and it's really interesting to see. If you recall, this was a few months ago when I don't know. I think my brother actually asked the question on YouTube a few months ago how much we've sunk into the hobby, financially. And I remember you gave some ridiculously low number, and I just started laughing openly at you because I see what you're spending on a weekly basis on all of this. So I know your answer was just completely detached from reality. And then I guess you go in these waves, you make all these purchases, and then no, it's just funny. It's funny to watch. If any of you thinks you are profligate spenders, you got nothing on this guy right here.
And the second thing I got, which this will sound even crazier perhaps, back in 2008, I attended the Great American Bash. You did too.
I did?
Yeah. So I attended
that was the night. Wait, that was the night of the Ultimate Warrior signing.
Yes. But anyway, that was the last pay-per-view or last show period. Maybe not the last show period, but the last pay-per-view I attended with my dad. It was me and my dad, just us. We went to this show. And for years now, I've wanted, again, am I ever going to hang this? Probably not. But I wanted a full-sized original poster from this event. I've had a saved eBay search for years for anything Great American Bash 2008 related. And nothing ever popped up. And somehow, a few nights ago, I fell down a wormhole of just looking up WWE posters. And I found a guy who had a ton of WWE posters that were labeled literally WWE giant posters. He didn't have a pay-per-view name. He had nothing. He must have worked in one of those Hooter type restaurant bars that had these posters and the events and all that. And I guess he must have been hoarding them all. And he had it, and I bought it, so now I have it. I have the full-size poster from that event. That also to go with the chair that you traded me for that hotel information. That got you what, prime time?
That was terrible. No, it wasn't even crowd. It was Shoot, I'm like mixing up hotel.
No, you did. I got Crime Time. That was the night.
I did not get Crime Time. I can't remember who I got from that.
That's right. You didn't. You were there, but you like didn't get them somehow. And class got into a fight with DJ Knight Rider in the lobby of the hotel. I don't know why. They were like yelling at each other.
Was that the same time when class got into a fight with Rich and Gino also? It's hard to know when that was. They all blur together. Wait, was that the time that we got like Dustin Rhodes, or was that not?
No. That was a whole different time. We actually knew each other then. We barely knew each other at this point.
Then what the heck did I get?
To the point that I remember I was afraid after I gave you the hotel info. That next night after the show, I had to like find you to get the chair. And I remember I didn't know you quite well enough where I had a slight like doubt. I'm like, maybe he's going to rip me off and never give me the chair. And I was like trying to reach you. And then I reached you and you didn't rip me off. And I mean, the rest has been history, I suppose. Here we are.
So you know that chair was actually a project of mine for a long time. And I got everyone who's pictured on that chair.
You did. And now I have to start all over again with the poster. I have to start with you already did.
Did you get the chair done or no?
No, my chair, I'm looking at it right now. It's sitting there. I haven't done anything.
The last one I got was Batista. And I remember I brought that to Rhode Island, I think, to get Batista years later. Like, like within the past 5 years, I think, was at Rhode Island.
But so don't worry. You got them all done in the Elmer's paint. It's probably chipped off already.
No, because it seeped right in. That won't chip at all. It actually looks great. Okay. I got actually the funny thing is the Batista I got done in the red Sharpie paint pen. It looks the worst of all of them. I wish I had done it with Posca. I just didn't. Yeah, it was a little bit before I really knew about pens. But I got John Cena at GNC. I got Triple H that time at that Costco, whatever it was, Sam's Club or Costco, whatever. I got CM Punk at that Ringside Fest. Brian Dan? Who? I can't visualize that chair now.
It's Punk, Shawn
Michaels, right?
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels. I got it at George's store. That chair has been all over the tri-state area. It took me years to get it done, but it's done. And you know where it is right now?
Wait, you still have it?
Of course. Where is it?
In the covered in mildew.
In my parents' basement. That's in a garbage bag, so there's no mildew. It's in a garbage bag sitting in my parents' basement. What am I gonna do with it otherwise?
Listen,
sitting down there.
Treasure chest, garbage bag. What's the difference?
Yep. But anyway, that was a good buy on your part, I guess. I don't know, but honestly, buying something like that is an interesting sentiment. I mean, I don't know why you did it now when all of these guys are really hard to get. I mean, damn.
To be fair, I couldn't find the damn poster. I've looked.
I wouldn't even start that project, honestly.
Well, I'm not like you. It doesn't have to be complete. I think I'm gonna take it over to the Golden Ring table at the big event. I'm gonna get Myers to do the Major Brothers signature.
That's hard. You're gonna buy this incredible original poster, and you're gonna get that turd on there. Are you serious?
I gotta get Swoggle on it.
Oh my god, I'm gonna vomit. Are you kidding me?
They're on the card, and
Who
that was
cares? Then you're gonna get all these scrubs on there, and none of the people who are pictured. That's unbelievable.
Well, no, I'll eventually get the picture, but you gotta get everybody.
No, I would be sick to my stomach. That's like That's like getting a movie poster and you find like one of the lighting guys and getting him to sign it before you get any of the actors. Good God.
Listen,
this is the topic for a show, I think, actually.
The Major Brothers won the titles that night.
Oh my God. That kills me.
Wow.
Because the odds of getting Triple H or Punk, they're so low at this point. Even Batista hasn't had a con in years.
Punk will do every Fanatics Fest until he retires. It's just a matter of, do I buy the ticket?
Oh, you're not buying
get on
it.
The line and
you're not doing that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the reality. The opportunity to get Punk is plentiful. Is my desire to do that plentiful? It might be, though, because I'm going to have the Mattel Retro by then. So maybe I'll do both.
You get up there, Punk's going to say, who do you have on here? He's going to see Brian Myers and Hornswoggle, and that's it. Jesus, I can't even... I don't know. Maybe I'm nuts. I just think that's such a sort of ass backwards way of doing a poster like that. With such significant history behind it. Brian Myers, you're gonna let him pop that poster's cherry.
Listen, stop. Every week you got to mock the major universe.
Because it's like, yes, I have to. I don't think it's interesting. That's why. But they're probably more. They're more interesting now than they were back then. That's for sure. Jesus.
All right, fine. I mean, I guess they don't have a segment about Brooke Shields every week.
It's true. Guy, that would make it interesting. Anyway, what else do we have on the list? You headed over to Francisco Alvarez today. How was that? You resisted getting the combo, so now I can use combo freely because we define what it means.
Well, you got in my head, first of all, that I keep missing all these Mets signings, so it's actually been bothering me, and the forecast for a couple of days was looking kind of bad. So I didn't pre-order. I didn't pre-order until Friday night. Once the main part of the storm missed us. So I went. I'm back in the game as far as the Mets. But yes, I passed on the combo because I don't know what the hell I'm doing now with the Mets. I had designed that like futuristic city field with the cosmos above, and I had the metallic 11x14, and I had some idea I was going to make this exact same design for everybody. And then I started thinking, like, assuming one day I gain like thousands of miles worth of wall, and I would actually hang this stuff. Would I want like 20 11x14s of the exact same picture with just a different guy? I don't know. And I think I sort of designed and created myself into a corner. So I don't know what I'm doing. So
why wouldn't you just get like a sweet spot baseball or something?
Oh, I've had bad luck with baseballs. They fade to nothing. You
got to buy a real MLB ball.
I've bought real MLB balls.
With a big pen.
I've bought them from Steiner in different companies. I've had Hank Aaron's in different ones, and the signatures fade away to nothing. Blank balls.
Sign with a big pen?
I don't know. At the time, I assumed the major company
would have
kept
used like bright light or something?
No.
I suspect they're fake balls. They're China balls. There's no other explanation. The leather balls shouldn't fade.
I don't know. Well, listen, when you come for inventory, I'll show them to you.
I never thought I'd say leather balls this week, but here we are.
I mean, I just said I'll show you the balls when you come for inventory. So that sounds just as bad. But yes, I don't know what the hell if I don't have a good idea, because honestly, half of my good ideas, then months later I say, why did I do that? So if I don't have a good idea, I'm doing nothing at all. So photo op only. I saved some money. It was good. He seemed in good spirits. It was interesting the way they did it. They had us all lined up on one side of Mulcahy's and then sort of like took us all to the other side for the photos. I guess Mulcahy's didn't want to clear the tables out of that one spot. I don't really know. And me being a marked out pro, everyone else is sitting at the tables kind of relaxing and like awaiting like the announcements to like line up. And I'm just like skulking by the stairs, and I ended up like top 20 or something out of like 100. And people were there a lot longer than I was, and I was quick in and out. So
everyone knows if you're a marked out person, you cannot rest. You have to constantly be sort of skulking about trying to gain the best angle.
Yeah, there's no resting in combo hunting.
What else we have? So some reports from the field this week. Peter Sisko, marked out board original member. He decided to maybe I don't know if it's a good maybe it is a good idea to bring your wife to the WWE Performance Center. Apparently, it worked out for him. He brought his wife to the Performance Center. He just wanted to take a look at the building, and who does he bump into in the parking lot? The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels himself, who posed for a quick selfie. And did you notice that Shawn's eye did not look too crooked in that picture? It was a good shot.
I think the Florida Sun is agreeing with Shawn's detached lazy retina, whatever he's got going on there.
Side note, one of my favorite things ever is RVD doing an impression of Shawn's lazy eye. You've seen that, right?
No.
Oh, it's the funniest thing ever. RVD is a very funny guy. There's a great interview where he does an impression of Shawn making fun of him when he was in because Shawn more or less, bullied and antagonized RVD when RVD was in WWE. I mean, bullying is a strong word, but he definitely antagonized him and whatnot. So RVD does an impression of Shawn making fun of him, and it's very, very, very funny. And he does the eye and everything. You got to check out that video somewhere. I'll dig it up and put it in the show notes on YouTube. But anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting your story.
No, but apparently Shawn is actually a pretty easy signer down there in Florida. I saw a couple comments that he's pretty accessible down there.
I guess he's changed his tune. Good for him, or good for the people down by the PC in Florida, huh?
Yeah.
So Ari added to his Rangers print. He's been posting this periodically, adding more names. New York Rangers. So he got I'm going to butcher these names. I don't know hockey at all.
Well, the second name is Taylor Radish.
Yeah, thanks for doing the easy one. What's the other one?
Will Coyley.
I'm
Ari, let us know how bad I did.
I love how you do that. You just jump to the second one. Yeah, I don't know how to say that. But in any case, continuing to build a Rangers collection. Hey, if you like hockey, you like hockey. Just not my thing. Vinny went to Houston?
He did.
What is going on? What?
He travels around now with Jackie Childs. He's like the Eric Sims to Jackie Childs.
That's interesting. All right. So it looks like he got to rub elbows with Craig Biggio, the Karate Kid crew, a bunch of others. He seemed to have done pretty well in Houston. Well, he's really doing a lot of traveling for shows these days.
He's racking up the frequent flyer miles.
Clearly. It's good stuff. I like to see when people kind of branch out and travel and because that's an area that, neither I've done it more than you, but even I have not done it nowhere near compared to some of these other guys. It's kind of interesting.
And let the record state that I had the opportunity yesterday, actually, to purchase a meet and greet ticket for Michael Richards in ATL, and I passed. So if anyone wants to laugh at me after I made those big declarations that I was in for Orlando and I was going to do it for sure, well, I didn't do it for Atlanta. Granted, it's like 10 days away, but still, I didn't.
Why, though?
I didn't feel like dealing with it.
What's the deal with? You get the ticket and you go.
2 days off from work. I have to sleep in the airport. I wouldn't get a hotel. It would just be bad.
Why wouldn't you get a hotel?
I'm cheap. I only spend money
now
directly on
Now
phone.
you're not going to get Michael Richards at all.
I know.
You don't care about that.
Once he dies, he enters like Andre the Giant, Yokozuna. I ain't gonna get them either.
But by that logic, why get anyone? Just don't get anyone. Just wait patiently or impatiently for people to die, and that's it.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. When you say it that way, I mean,
no. If I just sit around, you could be like Steve, just constantly, frenzied about the potential missed opportunities, and then just never get anything, and then they die, and then you feel. Do you feel actual relief when people die?
Well, no. I feel I felt sadness with the what the hell's her name? The woman from
I felt sadness with who the hell is her name? The best part about this is none of this is planned. None of this is on our sheet at all. I wish this wasn't funny, but it is. It really is.
But no, it's usually not relief.
I don't even know who you're talking about. Who are you talking about? Who died that you felt relief?
The mother from Home Alone. What the hell is her name?
Oh, God. Catherine O'Hara.
Yes, Catherine O'Hara. There we go. That wasn't relief. I was pissed, but I mean, it happens.
But it happens all the time. Michael Richards was one of you publicly declared him one of, if not your top want.
I think he's going to do something further north.
That's ridiculous. You got to just go. It's a big mistake. You got to go. Is the opportunity to get the tickets still on the table?
I think it might be gone now.
Oh, come on.
Why, are you going to go to smite me?
No, I don't give a crap about Michael Richards. I wouldn't travel outside the tri-state area for Michael Richards.
I think he's going to do NYC City Winery. I mean, there's no guarantee he even does a meet and greet if he does, but
I don't understand the logic there. It's just different. When I see someone I really want to get, I don't wait. I just get them. And it's what you claim to do, and this is just unbelievable. I'm stunned. Not really. I knew this was going to happen. I don't get it. I part of me, I'm hoping he dies in horrific public fashion now. I don't know, man. All right. Anyway, what else do we got going on here? Oh. You do the Kevin Nash report.
You just don't want to pronounce this name.
Right, you're damn right I know. That's why I punted.
All right, bomb. What the hell is a bomb in? But anyway, I think that's the last name. It's the first name. I don't know.
You typed this, not me. I don't know who this is.
No, that's actually the name. That was the name. I've never seen him before.
All right, good. Welcome, Bombman.
Yes.
So we're like making. We're not even like making fun. I just don't know how to. I don't know how to say the name. The joke here is that neither of us wants to do it wrong. Yeah.
Anyway, so Bomb Man. All right, stop. All right. So he got Kevin Nash at the casino.
I don't know. All right, so for people who don't understand what's going on here, is that we kind of go back and forth on. We have a sheet, like a lineup sheet for what we're talking about next, and so we kind of just alternate who says what without really cueing who's in. Now I'm totally ruining the whole kayfabe of this, but so I've been skipping things I don't know how to pronounce and making him read them, and I guess now we realize.
Listen, it's a good thing I read the first name and not the last name, which has like literally 16 letters.
All right, so.
But yeah, so Bomb Man was at this casino, which I'm not going to try to pronounce that name, in Milwaukee. They had some big thing with the Royal Rumble. Kevin Nash was out there for like a watch party. And it's funny, I saw on Kevin Nash's feed, he was at this casino in Milwaukee. And it turns out we have a listener, or at least we had a listener before we just laughed at trying to pronounce his name. And he was there. So it shows the reach of Marked Out. He got some cool stuff done. Looks like a very successful time.
What else we have here? Bardo did Chris Van Vliet in LA. Chris Van Vliet has gone from like a literal nobody to now, because of sort of the insider access with his podcast, he's starting to do a lot of stuff. A lot of people are getting him now. It's kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of don't mind him, and this is coming from someone who hates everything and everyone. I don't mind him at all. He's kind of good. He's kind of good.
I subscribe to his channel on YouTube.
Honestly,
his interviews are, I don't watch them in full or with real regularity, but like whenever I see clips, he's fine. Some people, I know there are people who were angry that he was at big event. Like, who is he? Why is he here? Why shouldn't he?
I knew who he was. I mean, I didn't get him, obviously, but
no, I didn't get him. If I saw him somewhere, if I saw him walking down the street, I'd get a selfie. But I mean, I wouldn't pay for it. I don't think. At least not now.
So, Artie was at the JCW show, met a bunch of people, but most importantly, is that Billy Starks?
That's Billy Starks.
There you go. Billy Starks is making the rounds. Yeah, I saw she just got announced for WrestleCon. She's making the rounds. We love Billy Starks. We'll always support Billy Starks. She was really, really, really fun to work with. Really fun. Just good people, honestly. When we were working with her, we were cracking up the whole time. She's just funny.
No, I love Billy, but it's one of those stories that only makes sense in the pro wrestling world. You and I, two grown adults, traveled to New Jersey to do a autograph signing with a high school student who was sleeping in her car when we got there. And we had to wait for her to wake up from her car sleep to meet us, to take our money and then sign for us. Like, it's honestly, we'd probably be on the news in most other like aspects of life. But in the pro wrestling world, I mean, we were supporting, the boys got to get paid.
No lies were told. That's literally identical. That is exactly what happened. Oh, man. So, yeah, she honestly had such a delightful attitude. We haven't seen her in a few years. I wonder if she's the same. She probably is.
I last saw her at Richie Sorrentino's con, and she was cool. She was the same as she always was. And, but who the hell knows now? Did
you say hello? I don't know if
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I said hello. And she was actually at Josh Baker's table. That's that moron with Zeta Steele's underwear. Yeah.
I have no idea whether he even got those underwear back. It's interesting. I should follow up, but I don't care enough.
No.
What else do we have? Chasen Graffs was down doing NXT again. He met the bunch of the NXT roster.
Joe Hendry is like nicer than I would think he would be out on the street or
Yeah.
inside, wherever the hell he was. He's gettable at
Taking
NXT.
care of everyone, apparently.
Yeah.
Our boys, the Vanity Project, doing God's work and refusing combos in public for free. One of the talks I had to have with the Vanity Project while they were working for us was, don't sign for free. So, yeah. And they apparently don't. I mean, we were joking about this before. You know, Brad very clearly has no interest in signing or doing combos in public. He is really repelled by the idea, genuinely, from our interactions with him. Ricky was not far behind. Jackson's like the nicest person ever. Like genuinely just the nicest guy ever. I will never say a bad thing about him. But at the same time, he's not signing. So God bless Jackson. You're learning something. I appreciate it.
I agree.
What do we got? 80s Wrestling Con. A lot of our board members are keep saying board members. Our marked out autograph collecting community members went to 80s Wrestling Con in New Jersey. Richard, Jason, Mike, Zach, all these guys. They all had reports for us. It seemed like a great time. The big interesting takeaway was you were sending me pictures of the pricing lists and the insane inflated premium pricing lists have now infected the lowest of the WWE legends. So guys like, the Powers of Pain and Demolition, these guys, Demolition was $180 combo. Powers of Pain, $170 combo. I mean, it's extraordinary prices. I remember when the Powers of Pain guys were like a $30 combo for both. And now you're talking about a $170 combo for them. Or you can buy a super ticket for all four for the fabulously low price of $300 US. And of course, they were charging for extra for fancy items got upcharged. Inscriptions were upcharged. It's a lot of money, man.
I respect the idea that these are two of the last 80s tag teams that both members are alive. I get Demolition has literally a plethora of new figures. Powers of Pain have the new Big Rubber guys that were out like a year ago. I get all that. I really do. But I mean, there's no way you should be paying $170 for Powers of Pain, $180 for Demolition. That's wild. I get it, I suppose. I don't actually, I don't know if I really do get it though, because unless I'm not sure who brought these guys in, we might be actually talking trash about someone that we know, and in which case I'm fine with that. But I know Ken just had Bill and Barry out, and the pricing on Bill and Barry was basically the same. So it doesn't seem like their price jumped up that much where Ken had to like adjust. So it makes me wonder if someone here just thinks, "Ooh, I'm going to charge a fortune. I'm going to get rich." Because if I go outside tomorrow and charge $5,000 per glass of lemonade, if you just assume they're going to sell, it's a pretty good business strategy. You could pay off debts and loans and buy cars and all sorts of things. The only problem is no one's going to buy it. And I suspect that was the problem here. I don't imagine they sold very many combos. Couple people that really wanted the autograph maybe scraped together some change in their pocket and got like one autograph or a couple autographs. But you're not getting a lot. And I don't understand the logic. But more power to them, I guess.
I would like to hear from someone who paid $180 for a Demolition combo, just because it's just such a high number that I don't know. Their autographs on the secondary market are worth nothing. So if you were to just get a photo, I don't know. It's hard to wrap my head around it.
Well, let me be clear. If I had not met either team before, I would definitely have gotten at least a photo, probably a combo. As we know on here, almost to the length of Brooke Shields, we know that Demolition to me is what Brooke Shields is to you. And
No,
I'm not looking down on
don't
anyone.
think that's a good comparison. But Demolition were guys in weird fetish gear who you as a child didn't realize you were looking up to. Anyway.
In any case, I'm not looking down on anyone that needed them and got them. I just think it's wild that a $300 super ticket today consists of 4 guys. And think about what Terrence and James and George and Mark gave us for the same price way back when. And, not that pricing should be the same today, but it's just a little bit of an eye-opener.
Absolutely. Honestly. Wicked Ink Wednesday has come and gone. There were some interesting ones on here I really liked. Andrew had that 50 Cent print, the 8x10 of him throwing out his infamous first pitch at the Mets game. Is he ranked worst of all time, or he's one of the worst of all time, right?
I mean, I haven't seen a throw that bad on the baseball field since Chuck Knobloch got the yips. Back in 99, 98. I
mean, there are a couple infamous. I mean, like Baba Booey infamously had a really, really, really bad first pitch at the Mets game. And there was a whole bit on Howard Stern where he was like, he saw all the other previously really, really, really bad ones, and he got really nervous. He was training for weeks and weeks and weeks, and he got up there and just completely choked it. It was just, it was the greatest thing. Yeah, I love the fact that he was game and just signed it. That makes it fun.
Yeah, I mean, 50 never claimed to be an athlete, and he has a sense of humor. So
that was good. And then Davey Boy, he posted a Liberace cut. You just don't see much Liberace out there at all. And he had it nicely framed in like a wrestling thing to celebrate Liberace's participation in WrestleMania. The whole the public mystique around Liberace is really interesting, and it just shows you like kind of wonderful naivety of the 80s. But we'll move on from that. And then finally, Jack Proctor had a pretty cool print with the various roles of Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, that's an idea I really never considered. I liked it.
And then we had Photo with Friday. I'm going to be honest, I will never be able to fully spit out the phrase Photo with Friday. It always gets stuck on my tongue. Probably too candid here, but I always want to say Photo Op Friday, and so I say Photo with, and I trip over it. Anyway, Photo with Friday. Obviously, the star of Photo with Friday this week is Todd with the extraordinary Carol Baskin photo.
Listen, the second I saw that Carol Baskin photo, I ran to my nearest supermarket and bought like every roll of toilet paper I could find.
What's the joke?
COVID. When we were all watching that, we were fighting for toilet paper.
So I actually watched that while afflicted with COVID. So I my first run through of watching Tiger King was actually in some kind of fever dream where I don't really remember any of it.
That sounds like Tiger King. I think you watched it just fine.
And then I didn't remember was the problem, but then I watched it again afterward once I was better.
They gotta let Tiger King out of prison, rather.
Well, there was that whole campaign where he was trying to get pardoned, and I don't know where that went. But
come on, Trump, pardon him so you can do cons. He would do cons. You know he would.
Probably. What else we got? Leo doing God's work, posting his shot with Olivia Hussey, and that was, of course, at the only modern public appearance by Olivia Hussey, which was at Chiller Theater in October of 2022.
Yeah, if you didn't get her there, guess what? She's dead. And you missed out.
Dead. And that was one of those things that,
could have done it.
It's funny, just seeing reference to that still brings me back to the pain of that weekend. Even though I wouldn't trade it for the world, it was a lot of fun. It was also extremely painful. And then finally, I thought Lou had a good picture with him and with Terry Funk and Harley Race together. I knew, like, towards the end, after those guys had been at a million cons, some promoters had started doing the thing. Let's do ops with them together, and I really just completely skipped all of that stuff, and I do regret some of it because it's pretty cool looking at those photos.
No, that's a great group up. I'm a little jealous of that one. I
sent you evidence. I think it's official pics. is doing a private signing with Catherine Zeta-Jones. I mean, that's news. It's another major A-lister who just came out of the blue and is doing signings. That's kind of cool. I wonder if that eventually is parlayed into a con appearance. We'll see. And the con ads. I mean, there's lots and lots of con ads this week.
Yeah. Chiller is on the map. They have added Michael Biehn, who I'm sure will be at that exact same table he's always at.
In that hallway.
Yeah. Michael Biehn with an Alien reunion, but it's like a B-side Alien reunion, which, I mean, is a very Chiller way of handling it. So kudos to Chiller. They booked Mark Boone, Robert Wool, Michael Cudlitz, who they misspelled on the graphic the same way they misspelled it last year on the graphic before he canceled, which made me laugh. And a Caddyshack reunion, which doesn't have Chevy Chase. The girl, what the hell's her name? Don't remember what her name is right off the top of my head, but she's dead, which kind of kills my desire to get the what the hell's his name? Michael O'Keefe?
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of, without the woman, that kind of hurts my desire to ever get him. Caddyshack is fun, but I mean, it's not like an all-time favorite of mine. Mark Boone, I actually do need on that Sons of Anarchy print. But the problem with that Sons of Anarchy print now is it's getting so good and so many people on it. I'm always paranoid then that like the pen's going to like it's vomit paint all over it. So I have to buy like a brand new deco. I think I might have to do a brand new deco for each signature to go.
Which was the Sons of Anarchy guy who just wrecked that print?
That's what exactly, Kim Coates, and he's on the print. So I'm very nervous about adding him because imagine he's the last one I add and he just ruins it.
Yeah, the combo gods might decide to shart all over your print, and then
Yes, like part of me wants to just never bring it out again and call it complete, but I know that's insane. These people are alive and accessible. I got to do it. But I think the only way, the fine tip decos, if they're fresh, honestly, even if they're not fresh, they really don't explode.
You can pry it out of Olivia Hussey's cold dead grip.
They may have buried her with
it. I don't think she ever let it go.
No.
Let's see. Chill Out. They added Dan Grimaldi, Patsy from The Sopranos. They added Curtis Armstrong. And they announced that Brooke Shields is Friday only. So you got to get there on Friday to get best con guest of all time, Brooke Shields.
The interesting thing with the Friday is I believe the show hours are 10 to 6. So it's not even like a chiller where you could sort of go in the late night hours, so to speak. Like this is going to be a day off affair or, a half day affair, which I suppose I'll do, even though I'm not really a fan of hers, which is just insane. But as much as I don't think she's the biggest of all time, I do think she's someone I should have in my collection because I am a deranged combo junkie. And yeah, that's basically it.
Steel City added Brett Gelman, Tom Kenny, SpongeBob, Josh Duhamel, and Adam Savage. Nothing for us really, but you need Duhamel or no?
Duhamel I have. I'm still shocked you never heard of Josh Duhamel.
No, not even.
He was out there in the social consciousness for a little while. And this is where my 12 times a week example that I'm deranged. I am behind in Stranger Things, not from a lack of liking it. Maybe even the lack. I guess if I really liked it, I probably wouldn't be behind. But they had those weird gaps that I like. You have to wait 7 years for the next season. You get sidetracked. I don't know who the hell Brett Gelman is in the scope of Stranger Things. But judging by the excitement of the Stranger Things community to his announcement, it kind of makes me feel like I should get him preemptively. Because when I watch the show up to that season, it's going to drive me nuts that I didn't get him.
And you realize that's an objectively nutty outlook.
Oh, of course. But I think I got to do it.
Fair.
I might, yeah.
Terrificon added a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reunion, the cartoon, right? Not the movie.
Yeah, the cartoon. Not gonna lie, I'm tempted, but that's the week that weekend is the week I'm getting back from Jamaica, and it would be like me getting back sometime on Friday and then running to Connecticut on Saturday to see these guys again. Even though I have things to get signed, I probably won't, but it's always cool to see those guys out.
For sure. Monster Mania was teasing a big ad, and they delivered with Bruce Dickinson. So I think he's going to draw like crazy at Monster Mania.
I wonder where they're going to put him, honestly. He's Saturday only, so you can't, they can't screw up they can't mess up the feng shui. Maybe they put him he's going to be in the upstairs room on Saturday. And I imagine Linda Hamilton.
Either in the pavilion or in that side room by the rear entrance. They'll put Linda and Furlong in that side entrance room.
Yeah, probably. I suppose.
Because you can line them up. You can fill the home room with lines if you want to.
Are you getting them?
Probably not. I'm going to be spending a lot of money on the It Kids. I'm not home right now. I'm away, but I just got a notification that my It poster was delivered. Did you ever order yours?
I didn't yet, but I'm going to. Or I just go to your.
What are you waiting for?
I just go to your house and steal the package.
You could. I mean, it's sitting there right now outside the door. So
it's probably covered in snow. The snow is blowing.
No, that's not how my door is set up. It's not possible. It's safe. What else are we looking at? It's kind of scaring me actually. You're really talking up Scaradise in Tampa as if you're even entertaining the possibility of going.
I'm not. No. If I didn't have Emma Roberts, I would probably talk about it and then just completely just fall through and cave and not do it like I didn't do Kramer. But she's huge in the American Horror Story realm, but I have her.
I mean, Rory Culkin is doing cons now?
Yeah.
At that show? I mean, Scaradise, you look at that lineup, that's a nasty lineup. It's actually really good. It's weird because, I mean, when is that show anyway? Do you know?
I'm looking right now.
It's February 27th to March 1st. So the issue is flights to Tampa that time of year are expensive. So, I mean, if it were in May, when flights are cheap, it's really not a bad not a bad trip. But I mean, it's really catering to locals. You can't. It's hard to fly to Tampa in February. It's outrageously priced. Cost you $1,000 round trip tickets on the flight. What else are we looking at? MegaCon Orlando added Daphne Keane, so it looks like she's going to be hitting the con circuit. We'll see if this is a one and done or if she is going to make her Northeast debut as well. We'll see. And then finally, C2E2 added Elizabeth Olsen. You know, she does a lot for I gotta say, for a very frequently working actor, she does a lot of cons.
It goes. I mean, she's not half as busy apparently as Freddie Prinze, who's got just a ton of Tubi movies coming out soon that he can't possibly make a date. But Elizabeth Olsen shows where there's a will, there is a way. You have to get out there. The con scene waits for nobody. If you're not at that table, you can't make any money.
Very true. Very true. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Autograph collecting community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. If you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Our friends at Big Time Wrestling are putting on a huge wrestling con and show on Saturday, March 14th at the OUC Shoemaker Center in Chillicothe, Ohio. Talents such as Diamond Dallas Page, Jerry the King Lawler, Mickey James, The Great Sasuke, Stan Hansen, and more will be appearing. Tickets are on sale right now at wcpbtwtix.com. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and or review. You can leave a rating or review or both on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a rating for the show or a comment on individual episodes on Spotify, or you can leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a comment on any episode on YouTube. Let's get into another vocab session. We did our first vocab session last week. We described what a combo was. So that's pretty good. So this week we're going to do another one. This one also comes from the warped mind of Class 316, Steve. And that term is Virgil or Virgilized. So do you want to or should I attempt to explain this madness?
I can attempt to. I'll start it out, and you can jump in if I'm leaving something out. Okay, so essentially back in the early 2000s, Virgil, the WWE/WCW star, was everywhere. It was a running joke. He was at every show. He would bring himself in routinely. He had the antics and the hijinks of just being unrelenting to passerbyers trying to sell his wares. And honestly, people didn't want him to the level they should have wanted him, because I mean, he had a Hasbro, he was in the NWO, he wrestled at he was at WrestleManias, he did all this stuff. He had a pretty decent career, but still, he was kind of viewed as the eye roll, not him again kind of name. So when people would be added that were like regularly booked or all around, people would say, "Oh, well, he's another Virgil. That name is a Virgil now because they're at every show." Granted, some of us were so spoiled and insane, we would be like, "Oh, Ric Flair was at 2 straight shows. He's becoming a Virgil." And it's like, well, no, he's just doing a couple cons. He's not a Virgil. And similarly, using that same logic, the term Virgilized meant I got everything I could ever need signed by this person. They are Virgilized. And while explaining this, I just realized that the way I am now, no one is Virgilized. I would never have been able to use that term because I'm always finding and buying and getting new things. So the truly deranged like me can't say Virgilized because that doesn't exist. But that is what it means. How would I do?
Pretty good. I mean, I think Virgilized and Virgil, they've kind of taken on additional sort of silly meanings for us. So, sometimes we'll use Virgil ironically, talking about someone who's not only just, ubiquitous as far as, their con appearances, but also you could be a Virgil if you're, aggressive in how you sell, or Virgil was really good about or bad about, depending on your view. He wouldn't post his prices. So he would make you kind of awkwardly try and negotiate with him. So that could also be Virgil-like behavior. Also, I think there's Steve used to talk about someone being Virgilized, which meant that you got a photo op with them that's satisfying, and you also got a satisfying number of autographs, or you got all of your items in your collection that had that person on them signed, which means if you got an additional item for them later on, so that person could be unvirgilized, and then you'd have to get them again to re-virgilize them. So to virgilize someone means to be completely done with them, and there's literally nothing else that you could ever want to get them on. But if you ever did, you could unvirgilize them and re-virgilize them again. If this sounds completely insane, that's because it is. But that was marked out, and we all use the term all the time.
Yeah, and it was it makes me think really quick. It makes me think back to the last time I saw Virgil, when his health was failing, and he was at the K&S Sportatorium. And at that point, he was really struggling. And I remember it's not funny, and it really wasn't funny in the moment, but it was just to watch Ken. Virgil wanted to do the virtual signing standing up because he said he could sign easier standing up. And Ken had to explain to him how his torso would be on camera and not his actual self, and he couldn't stand up for the signing. And it was just fascinating to see. But he lost that Virgil spark. He was kind of a humble, weak, sick old man at that point. It was actually kind of sad to see. But in his heyday, he was definitely a phenom.
So I have 2 questions. Well, a story and a question. I'll ask the question first. It's a very meta question. Is Virgil Virgilized for you?
I would have said yes, but I unvirgilized him after his death because I started the Hasbro's Hot and Heavy. I got all my prints done, all my poster prints done at Ken's when he was on death's door. But I didn't start the Hasbro, so I need a Virgil Hasbro.
So when someone dies, does that automatically Virgilize them according to the official marked out definition of the term? I'm going to say no. That Virgilization really is a matter of what you're conveying by using that term is that you have a significant quantity of autographs by that person, and you couldn't conceivably want more. That's what it means. It's about want. It's not really about availability. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, because I mean, when Hogan died, think of all the things I wanted that I bought on a weekly basis and entertained all of you with my thousands of dollars spent. And, just because I have 30 Virgil autographs doesn't mean I don't want more. So I suppose
I had a wonderful experience with Virgil. And most people would not appreciate this as wonderful, but it was wonderful for me. I was at a Legends of the Ring show, and Virgil was there. He brought himself in, and I needed him to sign the WWF Classic Superstars 2-pack with Virgil and Ted DiBiase. It was really nice. And I had my Elmer's green paint pen ready to go, the whole deal. And I know going up to Virgil, it's always a negotiation. But I had actually never gotten Virgil to sign for me before. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go. So I negotiated, I want to say it was a $15 combo. Okay?
Sounds about right.
And so I got Virgil to sign, and we took the photo together. Now, keep in mind, Virgil knew me by face. I mean, I'd seen him many times at shows before. So you always say hello, So we negotiated, I gave him his 15, and then right as I was finishing the transaction, a guy comes up behind me and goes, "Oh my God, it's Virgil. I loved when you were feuding with Ted DiBiase. How much for a picture with you?" And Virgil looks at me. He makes eye contact and smiles. Then he looks at the guy and says, 40. You know what the guy did?
He paid. And it's one of the funniest things I've ever been a part of, because there was that you said that Virgil sparkle. There was that sparkle in his eye when he smiled at me. And we both knowingly looked at each other that he was going to extract as much as he possibly could out of this guy. It was honestly, as he should.
It was a glorious moment. It was really funny. And telling this story right now, I'm grinning ear to ear, because I remember what a true carny and a true gentleman Mike Jones Virgil actually was. Oh man. So anyway, it's even though it might seem like an insulting term, it is with love that it is used in our community. We all loved seeing Virgil at these shows. He'd greet you like he knew you your whole life, and in some ways, we knew him for years by seeing him at all these shows, and he was very friendly.
And we even saw his hog on Class's camera screen.
He did flash Steve his genitals. Yeah. Do you think this episode will get an R rating because it's his genitals?
That's why you should have said hog.
His full member was shown to Class 216 in a fit of rage.
He pulled out his paint pen at the table.
In a manner of speaking, that happened. We've all seen the evidence that it happened. So that's our marked out vocab of the week. The main story actually is derived from. Speaking of interesting paint pens, a video that has been circulating over the past couple of days. Nick Jonas has a new record out, and you might be wondering what the hell was it marked out. Well, instead of signing those records, Nick Jonas has been dipping his gloved hands into a bucket of paint and then leaving a handprint, a real handprint on all of these records, for lack of a better word. And so what are your thoughts about the desirability of such a thing, and is this an autograph of sorts? Is this a quasi-autograph, and is this desirable?
My first thought is we better get to Orlando quick and get some paint. And get some Jackson handprints. That's the one thing we don't have.
You're not going to go for a kiss print instead?
Listen, I think we could go ass print, we go testicle print, we could do a whole lot of things. And his fan base would buy them all.
Several of our customers at the last show would definitely go for an ass print.
Yeah. In any case, you got to get your hands dirty. If you're going to do handprints, you want to see the lines of the hand. You want to see the fingerprints. You want to see all that, I would imagine. What good is a gloved hand? Unless he's giving me a prostate exam, I don't need a glove. I want bare hand in the paint. Well, I mean, I don't want it at all because I think it's stupid. But it to me, it doesn't make sense. It needs to be a bare hand.
What about in terms of its value or its desirability?
In terms of value, it's honestly probably going to be worth more than the signed ones because it's unique, at least for now, until it becomes the norm, which I don't think it will. But at this point, I would imagine there's other signed Nick Jonas vinyls out there. I don't think there's any with his handprint. So I think just from sheer, if you're a Jonas super fan, you need one because you don't have one now. I mean, I guess in a sense, it's probably harder to fake than an autograph because you'd have to have someone that had the same kind of hand size. You could measure the hand. It would be even less easy to fake if you had fingerprints exposed, because you could do like forensics to see if it's the actual fingerprint. But I don't know. Would you ever collect handprints?
No, I have no interest. It's one of those things. I mean, I guess in some way it's a cool artifact of the fact that it was touched by this person, which really, I mean, if you think about it, that's one key element of what an autograph is, right? It's the aesthetics plus the handling, I guess. Those are the elements of autographs. So in that sense, it satisfies one but not the other element of autograph collecting. On the other hand, it does kind of have a certain aesthetic look to it, I guess. You know, if you're interested in an imprint of a Jonas Brothers body part. But I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me. I'm wondering, obviously it's a Jonas Brothers, so obviously it wouldn't do anything for me. But I'm wondering, would I buy an Arnold handprint on something? I probably not. But I don't know.
Here's one of the things to answer that question. I don't think I would. But you said, and you're right. I think part of the autograph is the idea of, they used this pen, they touched this item, and this is one of the many ways I know I'm not right in the head. I look at that kind of like fandom, like marking out, however you want to put it. I kind of look at that with like a certain level of like disgust and pity. To me, it's like, they're just people. Who cares if they touch the item? Then I realize I spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every year and travel all these miles. Well, not enough miles to go to Atlanta for Kramer, but I travel many miles. And I do all of these things for these photo ops. And I think in a way I'm more deranged because I don't get that kind of I don't get the jollies of they touched my item. I really do when I'm looking at these people, for the most part, see them like I would see someone in my real life. I don't really see them as these mythical types of figures of this otherworldly beings. But yet I spend all this money. Why do I spend all this money to stand next to people I don't feel like I would go crazy because they touched my hand? It's I don't know what's more crazy. Not getting excited that they touched something, or, doing all this without that feeling. I don't really know what makes less sense.
Unfortunately, none of it makes any sense, right? You can't logically explain something that is by definition illogical. That's just true. But it is a funny thing, and if you haven't seen the video, check it out. I should probably post the link to it. I gotta remember to post all these links. I probably won't remember to post any of them. I'll forget. But someone can remind me, and I'll edit it accordingly.
It's all in the Facebook group.
It is.
You gotta join, guys. I'm telling you. Just like you gotta give us you gotta give us subscriptions and reviews. You gotta join that group.
Let's do some listener questions. So some of these are old. We've been sitting on them for a while, but that was our whole thing from the beginning. That we'll kind of release them in dribs and drabs as we use some, we keep some are more appropriate at later times, and so on and so on. So the first question is from Corey. He used to post on the old board, Tommy Highland fan, many years ago on the marked out board. And I think you can tackle this question a little better than I can. His question is, at what point do custom or unlicensed cards become just cards? For example, his own cards, or Pro Wrestling Junkie cards, or certain Leaf cards, etc. He made cards that using licensed photos. He gets them signed by various rookies. And he's wondering, in terms of the card collecting wing of the fandom, the autograph collecting community, how do they distinguish between so-called real cards versus not?
Okay. Let me preface, I have not been a card person in probably 30 years, 25 years, something like that. It's been a while. I understand the question. I follow the question. I get the question. I think I'm not super familiar with Corey's cards. I know the Pro Wrestling Junkie cards look amazing. They always look great. Cush and the crew do a great job. To get to the meat of the question, I really think at the end of the day, the unlicensed independent cards are always going to sort of be in a niche all themselves. I don't think it's ever, if Danhausen goes to WWE. Well, actually, Danhausen's a bad example. Ben Bishop. If Ben Bishop, who should get signed by WWE, if he gets a Topps card tomorrow, I don't think anyone's going to really... I don't want to sound like an ass saying this, but I don't think anyone's going to really care about the other cards. It's going to be the Topps card, or whatever WWE is using right now. That's going to be the rookie card, I think. Zach Linder's the rookie expert. He can tell me if I'm off base here. I don't know if they're ever going to really become legitimate for the same reason that a lot of the independent figures. You have the Joe Hendry Bendy. You have the Joe Hendry, ringside, unsanctioned figure, kind of sort of with the TNA title that's getting a little warmer. But when Mattel drops the Joe Hendry Elite, I feel like that's going to really be considered and respected as the first real Joe Hendry figure. Maybe I'm a snob. Maybe I like the big... maybe I'm poo-pooing the great indie rapper and saying, well, they're not as big as Drake. I don't know. But that's this non-card collector's take.
For me, it's a little bit more complicated. I do not buy cards. And when I was a kid, I bought some cards, but I don't really know too much about them. But, Corey does say some of these cards are actually licensed. He's licensing them from people. He's licensing photos. And so a lot of it is kind of dependent on the norms of the card collecting community. There are all kinds of famous instances of, in the professional world where a company put out a card that in theory is a person's first card, but the hobby decided that wasn't their real rookie card. And their real rookie card came out the year later on a major, brand instead. And so there's politics of the hobby that sort of dictate these things that are well beyond even our individual capacities to fully understand. If you really think about it, there is no difference between his officially licensed cards and say, Topps's, for example. I mean, I imagine the printing processes are relatively similar and, they all have different marketing for how these things look, I guess. But I think it's about, having a card that does well is about having the appropriate level of guerrilla marketing or underground marketing so that the people who would buy such a thing would buy it.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, and again, I don't make cards, I don't buy cards. Who the hell am I to say? But I was asked a question about cards, so I'm going to throw my opinion out there. If I was making cards, I don't think I would really care about when it's considered and when, what the overall acceptance is going to be. You want to be profitable. If you're making money, who cares if people wipe their asses with it in 10 years? You're making money. I think
these guys, they have a little bit of artistic vision. They want to make their mark. You know how it is. No one just wants to... Look, there's a reason why Pin Me, Pay Me is like a funny thing that was kind of made fun of, because no one wants to be the butt of the joke or someone who's, not taken seriously. I mean, you want your artistic contributions to be appreciated.
I guess. But here's the deal. Once I sell, I design my own prints. Once I sell them, if people want to, if someone out there goes and buys them all secondhand, then every print I've ever sold, throws them in a giant bonfire, pours gasoline on them, and lights them, I don't think I would care a single bit. I already got paid. Burn them, wipe you toilet paper, Carol Baskin size toilet paper rolls from COVID. I don't care. As long as you get paid, it doesn't matter. As far as, I don't think there's any real artistry in this stuff to that degree. Or maybe I'm just cynical.
Yeah, soulless.
Yeah.
Another question. This is an old one. It's been sitting here for a minute. I really liked it. And so I wanted to chew on it for a while. Chuck Kim asked, which celebrities have you met that had the most palpable aura and charisma? So I have a very specific story about this. And actually, I remember you were there and I told you about it at the time. I'm not sure if you agree with me or not. Do you know what I'm going to say?
I think I might. But go on.
So the story for me is when we were stalking the Law and Order SVU set.
Oh, I wasn't. I didn't know what you were going to say, but now I do. Go on.
And we had seen Richard Belzer, who was incredibly nice and accommodating and friendly, and he had signed my jacket. And then we were waiting around just to see whoever, and we were kind of looking around because the stars weren't in their trailers yet. Filming hadn't started yet. They were kind of just arriving to work. And from up the block, I could see a woman walking who, I'm not even joking, it literally looked like she was glowing, like some kind of religious figure walking down the block. I couldn't see who it was.
Please don't compare them to Mother Teresa.
But it looked like a megastar walking down the block. And as she approached, I could see it was Stephanie March, who played the assistant district attorney on SVU. And she just exuded star power in a way that I had never really seen before. By that point, I had met a decent number of people. I had never quite been like, damn, she really, and I wasn't expecting it at all. It's not like when you see her on screen, you go, wow, she's a star. But she exuded a charisma, and she was unbelievably friendly and accommodating and whatnot. But that wasn't what made her interesting. What made her interesting was seeing her from 2 blocks away walking, and it's looking like someone's parting the Red Sea or something, how she was walking, whereas like she just exuded and radiated star power in a way that I have really not seen before or since. It was really an interesting experience. I was taken aback. Because if I know if I wrote this answer out on paper, if someone said who generated the most charisma in your presence, and I wrote Stephanie March, most people would be like, who? And I get it, but in that moment, her star power, her charisma was undeniable.
I think I was at that point more jaded and experienced than you were, so I don't know if I was quite as impressed by it. But I know what you mean. Like, if you saw her walking down the street with 100 other people, you could sort of know she was somebody. And that's not even necessarily a commentary on her physical appearance. It was just something different, a little bit of an X Factor type of thing of the way she carried herself. I know what you mean. She's not going to be on my list, but I know what you mean.
So who's on your list?
That's only one name. You're supposed to give 3.
Well, he gave 3. He gave.
Oh, okay. I thought he asked for the top 3.
No.
Oh, his top 3 would be okay. So I'm going to go a little outside the box.
More outside than Stephanie March?
A little bit.
Wow.
I am going to go with comedy icon Larry David, who I think you could argue that his demeanor is perhaps the anti-charisma. He's very almost uncomfortably awkward, but that's what makes him cool. And when he was doing Broadway, Fish in the Dark, and he came out and did the stage door, it was basically like an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was Larry, and Larry was him, and that's what you got. And it was awesome to see him just being Larry and just kind of complaining about selfies and signing stuff, and just seeing him be him and making the faces and the sounds and just being Larry. And I mean, that to me was just really, really cool to see. There's a lot of paid ones I could name, which I won't really get into now, but just going through my photos while you were talking, I was just scrolling through. I wanted to sort of just see what jumped out at me with this question in mind. And yeah, gotta go with good old LD.
I'm actually, it's one of the few things I'm genuinely jealous of that I never got him. I really want to somehow. I mean, I don't know if I think when he's out and about, he's still reasonably accessible, but I would love to get LD. It's a big regret that I never did. And I know I can imagine exactly what that must have been like. And it makes me even more jealous that he was cool. Not even cool, that he was uncool, I guess, for lack of a better word, in person.
Would you fly to ATL for LD?
No, I didn't take the train to the city for LD. I'm gonna fly to Atlanta. Get out of here.
You're as bad as me.
No, I'm not the one saying I was my top on. I didn't make promises that I would fly halfway across the country for him. You did. You're welching on your promise.
I'm definitely taunting the combo gods.
100%. You really are. Like, all kidding. I know I've been making jokes, but all kidding aside, you're really putting Michael Richards' life in danger by taunting the combo gods. And then the last question from Dan. Have either of you ever walked away from a meet and greet and thought to yourself, that was a waste of my time and money? So I have an infamous story for this. This is, I mean, Dana has alluded to this, and I haven't really ever talked about it, but I have experienced a couple over the years. I've experienced a couple retirements from the convention scene. Usually what happens is I am at a con, and I spend a lot of money, and I have a bad time. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm taking a break for 6 months or a year or whatever. And I had a self-imposed hiatus of over a year. It could have been really 2 years even, I think. I was like 2013-ish or so.
I think that was when you missed Tom Hanks.
I missed a lot of things, but yes, Tom Hanks was one of them. And I really I can point to an exact moment when it occurred. Believe it or not, it was the New York Comic Con that had both Carrie Fisher and the Emperor Palpatine, Ian McDiarmid. And I have a Star Wars poster. I have 2 Star Wars posters, but I have a Star Wars poster that was The Empire Strikes Back. I had already had Harrison Ford by that point. I had a lot of the side characters, and I really wanted Carrie Fisher and the Emperor Palpatine. And Carrie Fisher annoyed me by throwing glitter on the poster, first of all. And I was a much grumpier person back then, if you could believe. So that annoyed me. And I was like, whatever. But then when I went to the Emperor Palpatine, there was just, I can't even explain it. But I know, I remember what it was. I think we paid, I'm going to get this wrong. Was it $60 for Carrie Fisher, or was it $80 for Carrie Fisher? Do you remember?
I get prices wrong from 3 months ago, and then Greg corrects them. So I have no idea.
Either way, I remember the issue was that Emperor Palpatine was like $10 more than Carrie Fisher. Whatever the numbers were. Was it 60 and 70, 70 and 80, 80 and 90, whatever it was. And I was like, you gotta be kidding. And for some reason, it like broke my brain a little bit. And I remember after I paid the money and got him to sign it, I just felt this disgust for the item, for the convention scene, for the whole thing of it. And I remember saying to you and Lanza, I was like, I derived no joy from this con whatsoever. That was exactly the term I used. I was like a complete nut. I was like, I derive no joy from this. I'm miserable right now. I'm done. I am done. And I quit. And it was, for some reason, and Ian McDiarmid was lovely. He did nothing wrong. I want to make that clear. He's nothing wrong. He was fine. But in that moment, for reasons I can't quite explain, I was sick till I stopped. I felt physically ill. I felt physically ill that I was spending money on something because I was like, I got no joy out of this. I wasted money. He wrote on this poster, I will fold it up again and never look at it. And that's how I felt.
I would say you lost your smile, but I'm not sure if you ever really had a smile. So I think you lost your scowl at that certain New York Comic Con. It's a little bit crazy, but I mean, like you always say, it's all crazy. So I mean, who can judge? It was actually probably less crazy than living in blissful denial and continuing to do this.
I was going to say, is it any less? If I would have gleefully celebrated him signing, would that be less crazy? I could argue it could be more crazy.
No, I think it's actually kind of, I don't think it was that insane in theory, but I mean, considering here you are like 12 years later hosting a podcast about the hobby, and you had this whole like existential crisis because you paid for an autograph you waited online to get, and he was nice, but you didn't like the price. It's a little crazy, but I get where you're coming from, and you're definitely more dialed into reality when you feel that way. As for my answer, I'm not gonna go in depth again about this, but everyone remember that Sopranos event that I hated. So that's always out there. But
that was Patchogue Theater.
Yes, I'm gonna go with a different one. I'm gonna go with something different. This was, I guess, sort of like your experience, where I was at this convention. It was the Big Apple Con at that hotel. What the hell was it called? Was it the New? No, it wasn't the New Yorker, but whatever hotel it was, right by Madison Square Garden. And I was there at that point. You had the show V, not the original, the remake. I enjoyed it. It was in hindsight, it really wasn't that good. But I mean,
didn't they, like, if I'm not mistaken, they cliffhangered it and then canceled the show?
Yeah. So anyway, I'm at this. They had Morena Baccarin, which I think that's how you pronounce her name.
I'm almost certain it's not, but that's okay.
Anyway, so she was at the show, and at that point with V, she was known for the haircut. The haircut was a big part of the character, at least to me. So I digress. I'm at this show. I'm waiting around for her. I'm killing time at this event. This is the show. I sat on the wooden table, and the table collapsed, and down I went. And then that little disgusting creep Mason Reese laughed at me after all he did was a couple commercials. Notice I didn't even compare him to Honey Boo Boo. He was sub Honey Boo Boo, and he laughed at me. So I was laughed at by Mason Reese. I think someone else canceled. I think that was the show Ice-T was supposed to be at. Ice-T wasn't there. So I'm sitting around, and I ended up finally. It was the time for Morena's signing. I got an autographed 8x10. Yes, this adds to my feeling. I got it personalized, so I can't even sell it. I mean, I guess I could, but I mean, who the hell's going to pay me anything really for that? And on top of that, when it came time for the photo op, she was wearing some big dumb like hat. I'm pretty sure Busta Rhymes wore the exact same hat in one of those early music videos.
It was like a bowler hat or something. It was like a really weird looking hat. It was stupid looking hat. You need to post it on the board or on the Facebook group.
It was this fuzzy, stupid hat, and she wasn't supposed to have that stupid hat on. You're supposed to see the haircut. Supposed to look like the woman from the show. Like, it made no sense. It pissed me off. I expected to have this photo with the main alien, and I had this photo with like white Busta Rhymes and a stupid hat. It was just dumb. And I came away from that convention feeling bleh. Just didn't feel good. I wasn't happy. Unlike you, I didn't stop for 2 years or 2 minutes. I was right back at it, probably the next weekend, doing something. To me, that seems less insane, because, I mean, we're hobby lifers here. It's what we do. But real world, big picture, your reaction was less insane, because you realized it was all stupid, and why are we doing this? Meanwhile, I realized in that moment this was stupid, and I just kept going, because what else would I do?
There you go. So what do we have coming up for us? 2 Chainz is happening when?
Sometime in March.
That's far away.
Yeah.
So we have 2 Chainz in March. By the way, I can't remember if we talked about this on the show, but you had alerted me to Jeff Probst doing a book signing at Barnes & Noble in Union Square. Yes. I dithered a little bit about buying a ticket, and that thing's sold out.
Yeah, we talked about it on the air. Yeah.
Oh, we did. I'm still. Yeah. I've been going back, checking back periodically. It now says pre-orders are sold out. So I'm wondering if there's a way to like show up a day of and try and get in. But I'm not going to do that. That's crazy.
I know. Eventbrite allows cancellations and refunds up until like a week before, 3 days before. There's some time limit. I imagine if you go on, see when that time limit is, if you go on that day or the next day or something, I imagine there's going to be some amount that re-enter the pool. There's got to be. This is not...
I just think it's crazy. Of all the ones to sell out, it's Jeff Probst. Come on, what the hell? I mean, is it that limited, or is he that popular? I don't know. But it kind of sucks for me.
Yeah, I feel bad now when I texted it to you that I didn't like shake your tree a little bit more and be like, hey, check this out, look at it.
Would you really expect it to sell out?
Well, no, but I mean, I did send it to you in that moment. I kind of always expect these things to sell out on some level. I just know it's paranoia and insanity. Like, I was rushing to do 2 Chainz because I was afraid it was going to sell out. And, like, it's not. But that was my fear. So I always have that fear, but not enough that I would have actually, like, told you, like, hurry up.
Yes. Miserable. Miserable is what it is. Anyway, we're heading for Monster Mania in March as well.
I gotta decide if I do Bruce Dickinson. I shouldn't. There's no good reason to do it, but I mean,
is it bad? I'm gonna say something crazy right now.
You want him to die?
No. Why would I say that? It's not even that crazy. Compared to what I'm gonna say, I am now chewing on the group pro-op with the clown for Welcome to Derry for the simple reason that it puts the whole photo in context with the kids, if that makes sense.
Sick thing is, I had that same thought. I was viewing the stunt clown sort of as a prop,
right? Exactly.
More than an actual entity.
Exactly. That's how I'm looking at it now. I can hear your genuine anguish over this, but I was mulling it over because here's the thing: at this point, you're dropping so much dough on something like this, you might as well make it awesome, you know.
But do we get the fake clown on the poster?
No, I wouldn't. Absolutely not. I would draw that line. He's an actor. He's nothing. That's really mean. But
he's nothing.
It sounds terrible. But no, definitely not. No, I wouldn't anyway.
Damn.
Something to chew on. Again, maybe something to discuss on the Facebook group. What else we have? It's funny. I left off on this list. I left off Big Event. Oh, no, never mind. It's on there. Big Event, Steel City, and then Chill Out is in April. So we have a bunch of stuff coming up. We're in full swing for the spring, baby. All this stuff happening. And you know what's going to happen? All of a sudden, all these book signings and little appearances are going to start popping up. Everything's going to start flooding in. So the fun never stops.
I'm ready. Con season, baby. It's here.
Yeah, spring con season. Then we take a break for the summer, and it's fall con season. So it's a circle of life, honestly. It's crazy, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Autograph Collecting community on Facebook. And like we've been announcing the past couple weeks, we have 2 private signings we're currently running. You can pre-order Rick Martel, which will be done at Big Event. We do have a very, very small number of Big Rubber guys left in stock for him to sign. We sold a couple, only a few left. And we're also doing a private signing with The Rock, Don Morocco, not The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, but The Rock, Don Morocco, also at Big Event. And all of these are available on markedoutcollectibles.com. And just please be aware, this will almost certainly be Martel's last U.S. signing ever. And it looks like it's Morocco's next to last U.S. signing ever. So yeah, if you want these guys, if you want these, Morocco is a relic of the 70s and 80s and Martel is of the 80s and 90s, do it. There's no better time than now, because if it's not now, then that's it.
Yeah, and on the topic of the Big Rubber guys, I'm telling you right now, if any remain after this period, we are definitely going to throw these on eBay for a very big number, because the international buyers out there on eBay will pay them. So don't think, I'm going to see how it looks when it's done. The plan here, just so you know, the plan here is not for us to not get these in-stock Rubber guys signed. We're going to get them signed, and then we're going to buy them from ourselves at cost and list them on eBay at in very heavily inflated prices. Yeah, and Shawn is not a major pod fan, as he's been on record of having, he says it on a weekly basis. But he always, or almost always, gives the Big Rubber guys props. These are nice figures.
Yeah, I think the guys who buy them to collect them for the purposes of, and Lord knows with your rectal play or whatever they do with these giant things, I'm sure they like them. Sorry.
Well, listen, luckily they come in a resealable box. So you could buy a signed Rick Martel Big Rubber guy. You could pop him out of the box. You could stick it in your ass, and then you put it right back in.
Nothing's stopping you. And honestly, it's rubber. It's rubber. So you just wash it. You wash it right off, and it's like brand new.
And listen, we don't use Posca. So your ass will chip before the autograph will.
You can tell this is being recorded late night because I'm
Yeah.
going to probably regret that when when I'm editing it.
It's
But I agree. But yeah, no, the big rubber guys look sick. I actually bought a Danhausen off Rockin' with Dan the other day, signed, which looks unbelievable. So I do actually like these quite a bit. I'm not going to collect them, all of them, because I don't have the space for it and I really want to. But I do love that aesthetic. I love the LJN line of WWF figures from the 80s. I remember my birthday, I think it had to be, I can't remember if it was 85 or 86, but I got the full Wave 1 set for my birthday. And my parents were the types, they knew how to shop for toys. So my parents knew how to look on the back and make sure they got the whole collection. They went to every freaking toy store, and they would and now they would tell me stories. Back then, they would go to the toy store and it would just be just shelf upon shelf upon shelf of nothing but Hulk Hogan, and they would need Big John Studd or something, and they would go trying to get it. You have to go to 100 toy stores because the way these would ship to a case. I think these were cases of 6 or 8, and it was almost all Hogan's in a case, and they have 1 or 2 other of the heels, and that was it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's the way it was, and I just these figures, honestly, the memories I have of in my parents, in my grandparents' backyard, beating my brother silly with a big fat version King Kong Bundy LJN figure. These are the childhood. I'm serious. These are the childhood memories that you can't erase. And so I love the LJN line. The fact that they're paying homage to that line is super cool, and I really like them a lot.
And speaking of LJNs, I'm pissed. The other day, last week, whatever it was, Target dropped Series 2 of the LJN line, and I was supposed to wake up at 3 a.m. to lock in my pre-order, but I completely forgot it was that night. So I wake up at 6:30 to get ready for work, and I go on my phone, and the first thing that I see on my feed, because that just shows how insane my browsing habits are. Not a family member, not a friend, not a trusted friend or anything. It was just a sea of LJN posts, and I raced onto Target. I was able to get 3 of the 4. But the Ultimate Warrior has already sold out. So now I got to hunt down the Warrior.
I'm surprised you're buying the Warrior knowing that it can never be signed unless you send it to Staten Island.
I'm all in for now. I'm all in. Maybe if there's 15 sets and my shelves are overflowing, perhaps I will purge and keep just the signable. I don't know. For now, I'm all in.
Here's a crazy question. For something like those, do you open them?
No, definitely not.
But why? Because you can't get them signed.
I like the way they look in the package.
Really?
I think it looks better aesthetically, yeah.
Oh, I know.
I'm a fan. I think almost everything looks better in the package, believe it or not. Granted, as a kid, I ripped everything open. I remember I bought the green card Hasbros at this store on William Floyd Parkway for people in the area. You know what that means. And it was this little like hole in the wall toy store, and I bought the green card set. And I remember they were expensive for back then, but that was probably like $25 to $30 each, maybe less. And I ripped those suckers open in the car. So I mean, as a kid, I was all about ripping them open. But now I love the aesthetic. I love the package. Yeah. So
did I ever tell you about the black card LJN story that I have?
Off air, you probably did.
So you couldn't get them I don't think they even shipped to the northeast of the U.S. But I remember my whole family, like my parents and also my extended family, were on the hunt for these stupid things because I was so desperate to have them. And I remember they would call everywhere, and everywhere would say, "Oh yeah, we have the WWF figures." And then when we inquired, it was the first wave of the Hasbros, because the first wave of the Hasbros kind of sort of overlapped with the last wave of the LJNs. And I asked everywhere, we tried every which way to get these LJNs. And I remember this toy store in New York City claimed to have them. Now keep in mind, this is, 89? Or, at this point?
It would have to be for the Series 1 of Hasbros to be.
Yeah, I think it was 89. And my aunt said she found a store that was selling them for $50 each. This is $89, $50 each, right? And I remember I begged and pleaded and harassed my parents for days because they were like, "You're not getting these things." And finally my aunt was like, "Oh, I'll just buy them." And then when we called them again, they had sold them.
Wow.
So that still haunts me to this day. That one of these days I need to tell my backyard wrestling story. But there are 2 times ever where my parents denied. My parents were very, they were great. There were 2 times when they denied me something, and both of those times I missed out in a way that I remember. One of these days I'll tell the backyard wrestling story, but it's long, and I don't have. We're already way over time wise.
Yeah. So
I think that's it. I think we are ready for spring con season. It's only early February, but I feel like I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it feels like Antarctica Comic-Con will be fast approaching. So I'm definitely ready for some flowers blooming, combos growing, and all sorts of good things.
Listen, however cold you feel it is by you, I'm telling you right now, where I am right now with the wind chill, it's minus 25, okay? So,
wow.
Yeah, it's not fun. But I'll be back home tomorrow. Hopefully my welcome to Derry poster arrived without any mail from the Postal Service. No damage from the Postal Service. God
or
damn.
Theft from me.
Yeah. I hope it looks as good as the rendering art on the website is. I paid a lot of money for this stupid thing, so I hope it's good. I have a feeling it's going to be great. I'm really excited. Anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna have a nice looking poster.
Don't that just made me mad. You did it on purpose. Anyway, I think we're good.
We're great.
So, for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, and Marked Out Radio, I'm Shawn.
And I'm Dana.
We will see you next week. Keep those big rubber guys in